All right, we're live. So, like I said today, just let people pop on. I'm going to answer any and all credit questions that you may have today. So, make sure everybody's good, get everything positioned. So, if you get on, say hello. Hi. So, we're going to be going live. So, today, I'm going to be answering any and all credit questions that you may have. If it comes for dispute letters, medical debt, charge-offs, uh, any credit questions, how to read a credit report, why certain things, uh, why should we be going this approach for certain things, and just kind of just talk credit. So we're going to talk credit and see if there's any questions I could answer for you. So I'm just going to give everybody time to get on. I said it would be 1:00. It is 12:59. I'm always early. Just that military, you could be fit. You better be 15 minutes early to be on time. So we're definitely gonna wait until some people come on and then have some credit questions. So just keep it going, keep it going. I know I put out we were going to have questions today, credit questions, dispute questions, all that type of stuff. I'm going to be putting out another video coming out real soon, probably tomorrow. So on a new topic, credit topic. So let's see how many people come in, stay in. But I'm here to answer all questions. I get a lot of emails asking a lot of questions. So I thought, it's time for me to, maybe every other week do a live credit Q&A, just so people could ask questions. I always have I have my master dispute package that has all the information that you need to help build and correct your credit report. So it's got a lot of information and it's got, I think it's up to 52 items in that package. So if you want to, do it yourself, I recommend people learn credit yourself. Learn how to do it on your own. I know sometimes some of us are just too busy to do it, and that's understandable. Then you want to find the right person that could help you achieve your goals when it comes to your credit. Make sure they use Metro 2. That's the standard guidelines that creditors must be using. So, make sure if you are going to go outside and have somebody, make sure they understand not just the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and don't ask them what other manuals you use, let them tell you, because if they don't mention it, then they're slipping in a lot of different areas when it comes to how to actively and to see an inaccurate posting or how something is being entered on your credit report. So make sure you ask all the right questions if you're gonna have somebody do it for you. But I tell everybody, educate yourself so you can do it on your own, fix your own stuff, save you some money. And that's really why I created this master dispute package. So to help people go out, figure it out on your own, and do your own research, but have that information in front of you to help you put together a really good dispute letter. So, but we're going to try to see if some people want to pop in. See if some people have some questions that they would like me to answer. If you're in here, say hello. So, all right, if you're in here, like again, I'm here to answer any credit questions that you may have. Uh, so if you're in here in the chat, you have a question that you want to ask me, this is the time to ask. This is the time to get real, honest credit information. So on whatever you may possibly ask. So, so ask away. I'm gonna be on here. I'm gonna stay on here for about 30 minutes, just to see, how everybody's doing. Do you have any questions? What are your credit issue problems that you're having? Are you having some issues where you've been disputing something and it's not coming off and it's inaccurate? All those type of things. So I'm here to answer your questions. Hold on. I need to run over and cut this upstairs AC on. It's getting a little warm up here. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. So if you have any questions, I'm here. I said I was going to start coming on and doing some live Q&As just to help people out so they could answer questions. I could answer their question. They could ask me questions. I can get back to them, give them the information that they need, all those type of things. So if you're on, just say hello. I'm here. If you got any questions, go ahead and ask. It's my job to give you the answers that you're needing, when you're trying to, remove negative items. All right. Hey, how are you? Sally? Miss Johnson. So do you have any questions that you like to ask Miss Johnson? I'm here and I'm ready to answer any questions. Or would you just prefer me to still set up and give you a call and talk to you, one-on-one over the phone? That's fine too. So, but I'm gonna start doing these live chats, a little bit more often. Get a lot of emails about, hey, ran across your video. I like what you're saying. I try to be, I try to kind of stick to what the manuals say, right? I get away from people that just kind of repeat the same thing that 10 other people say. For me, I'm gonna go research and see if that is actually true. So if you have a question, if you got any questions, I'm here. I'm ready to answer your questions. Uh, I'm just a little different on there. So I never tell. I know I've had emails or somebody said they told me they could raise my credit to a 700. I never tell a client what I can raise their score to, because really it's retroactive. If I can improve their credit and tell them what's hurting, their score is only going to go up. And there's so many different factors uh, that uh, that you may not hit a 700, but still have a really good credit profile, right? You know, how much new credit you have, how much old credit you have. You know, it's a lot of different factors. So, you know, the objective is nobody should tell you where your score is going to be because nobody can predict that. They could tell you your scores are going to improve, but you know, I'm more telling her I can improve your credit profile, which would make things better for you to get approved for certain things. Do I know what your exact score would be? Nah, I shouldn't. All right, so should I freeze the other credit sites like StageStream before I start my disputes? Well, it all depends on what you're trying to dispute, be honest with you. So StageStream, a lot of people freeze StageStream because they're trying to get inquiries removed. A lot of people freeze Nexus, Lexus, Core Logics, I think it's ACR. They like to freeze them because either they're trying to get bankruptcy removed or they're trying to update addresses. They're having a hard time. Uh, it all depends. Now, what I always say, it all depends on how bad that client credit report looks. You have just a couple of negative items on there that you're trying. That's a lot of work just to try to get those negative items off. And it doesn't always mean that it's gonna come off once you dispute it. You got to remember when you're disputing, you're actually disputing something that is by the manual is actually inaccurate. And the reason why you want to dispute in those manners is because if you know, so if you ever get to a point where you tried everything and you know it's wrong, and say you want to get a consumer lawyer, you want to have all those letters and disputes uh, be written where they could legitimately be used against the credit bureaus or the original creditor for negligence. That is the main reason why you want to. I don't freeze everybody's credit report. It's a lot of work. And then you got to unfreeze it. They have to have a severely, say they have in the 400s, they just have a lot of stuff going on. Then they have a bankruptcy. Then what I do is ask, do you plan on applying for any credit anytime soon? Do you understand if I start freezing these accounts, if something pop up and you need to get some credit, it could stop you from getting credit, right? So I asked all those type of questions. If you don't have to, like a medical debt, you don't need to freeze StageStream. If you got a charge off, you don't need to freeze StageStream because you got to remember they're sending an email through eOscar to the original creditor. And the original creditor is going to email them back within eOscar to say this debt has been validated as accurate, right? So freezing all that stuff, I only do it in severe cases where I have a person with a lot of issues and I'm covering a wide range of issues and I just want to shut down everything, right? I hope that answered your question. But uh, but tell me what kind of, Ms. Johnson, what type of disputes are you, what type of accounts are you trying to dispute? Are they medical debts, charge-offs? What are you trying to dispute? If you can answer that, I can really give you a better, are you trying to dispute a bankruptcy? Are you trying to do inquiries? What are you trying to do? And then I could give you a better answer on that. So So your charge-offs, okay, let me kind of explain. Now, are the charge-offs still with the original creditor, or has the charge-off wiped it off, made it a zero balance, and sold it to a debt collector? And that's typically what happened with some charge-offs. Is it still with the original creditor like Capital One, First Premier? Are any charge-offs still with the original creditor, or they already been passed on to collection companies? Now, remember with charge-offs, if they're still with the original creditor, that charge-off, the only way you can get that charge-off removed off of there is if they issue a 1099-C and cancel the debt. That is the only way, right? The original creditors are bound by in Metro 2 that they cannot remove that information unless it is an error, right? So okay, you said so they are from a collector. All right. So freezing those reports is not going to help you with the collector. So with charge-offs, this is the thing about charge-offs. Says what's the highest number of instances per account should I place on my infraction? So I would only put 2 infractions per dispute letter. You don't want to have, now people will tell you that you can dispute as many things or as many items, but within each one of those items, you should not be disputing 5 or 6 different things. You really should. So for me, like when I dispute, say I see that there's a collection account. They received that account on an open date of 1/1/2021, but they got a last active date of, no, they received that account on 1/1/2020, but they got a last active date of 1/1/2021. So for one, there's only 3 reasons why that activity date of last active should move. Either you made a payment on that account, you missed a payment, or the balance increased, right? That's the only way. Other than that, that date should not move, right? And a lot of times they move that date to kind of extend your reporting, even though the date of first delinquency is really the date they should be going by the purge date. But that date of last activity can affect how long it reports on your credit report. So to answer your question, I only dispute maybe. So if there's a date of last activity, I will also say, listen, the date of last activity should be the same date as the open date. I've never made a payment. This account has never been risen. The amount has never increased, and I'm not bound by. I have no contract bound by them to make any payment. So you just got to know how to read the how to put the dispute letter together. And because the date, the open date, and the date of last activity kind of are connected, then they'll both be on there. But I won't dispute balance, account, date of last activity, the account. I don't dispute a ton of things. I really focus on one thing because the credit bureaus, they're dirty. So they will, you have 5 different things. They may dispute the thing that's accurate, right? And not even touch the things that are inaccurate. And then you'll get a response say, we verified this information is accurate. So for me, I only dispute maybe 2 things at the max. It says, I have found an average of 6 errors on a total of 4 accounts. Should I request them to pay off a debt and remove ASAP? So before I pay anybody, I always dispute the item. I always dispute it, because if you can get it off without paying it, then that's a win-win, right? So that's the first thing that I always do. And I dispute it, and I always send in my affidavit, because there are other factors you should be looking at. So when they send that validation letter, a lot of times I've received validation letters, or my clients have received validation letters that have Fair Debt Collection Practice Act violations on them, right? And I did a video on that, just showing how a law firm had put certain wording in their debt collection letter that was a Fair Debt Collection Practice Act violation. So that client won the case. I've had clients that receive letters that did say this was attempt to collect the debt. Any information obtained can be used for such, which is required to be in every debt collection letter. They may have this is from a debt collector, but that's not the entire statement that is required, right? So I always send out a dispute, and I also send out that validation letter to the collection company because I want to see what are they going to write me back. They should have a physical address on that letter. If they have a PO box, they're in violation. They are required to have a physical address. And that's why I say when you do those type of things and you find that they're making errors in violation, and you say, you know what? I mean, me, because I've been doing this, I'll probably be like, I know there's an infraction. I'm gonna give me a lawyer, right? That's just me because I understand, uh, what they can and can't do, and I'm not afraid to take them to court, counter sue them for damage in my credit report, and see what damages. Because I have disputed it, and the credit bureau said it came back accurate, and I know it's not. I've sent the letter to the creditor, and the creditor refused to take it off and refused to fix my credit report. Then that's when I'm gonna say, okay, no problem. If it's a large debt, like over $2,000, I'm gonna probably take them to court. If it's like $800 or $700, I'm gonna probably try to settle it with my restrictive endorsement letter and get it removed off my credit report. Let's say I have a few validation letters that were sent to me, and they say it was correct. They dismissed my dispute. Uh, so are you saying they when you say they dismissed my dispute, are you saying that they removed it, or they just didn't pay attention to your dispute letter? I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're asking. Because you say I have a few questions, letters from where sent to me, and they said it was correct. They dismissed my dispute. You saying the credit bureau dismissed your dispute, but what did you actually dispute? So those are the questions I would be asking. What did you actually dispute? What did you actually put in your dispute letter? Uh, because the credit bureaus, if you don't be specific, even if you go take them to court, they'll be like, "Well, we didn't know what she was trying to dispute." So it's very important you put a detailed, accurate dispute letter together, specifying exactly what you're disputing on that credit report. Now, if I know you said you have, 4 accounts, uh, and you would like to just get them off. That's where that restrictive endorsement letter is. That's in my master dispute package, where you take that letter and you'll fill out whoever the collection company is, the account number. Say you owe them $500, and you say, you know what, I'm only going to send them $400, and you're going to send them in a payment method. And I will have to discuss these with you. Okay, yeah, we can have a one-on-one conversation and go over. But if you have a dispute, like if you want to settle, you want to settle and get something off your credit report, I always use restrictive endorsement letters, right? Because what make those so great is you're just created a contract between yourself and the collection agency, and in that letter you're writing down the terms and conditions for accepting this payment method, right? And that payment method is written on the payment method. So when they cash that and you get confirmation that they cash that payment method, now they just agreed to the terms and conditions. And one of your terms and conditions, especially with a credit a collection agency, is I want this removed off my credit report. Okay, John, is the restrictive endorsement letter part of your package? Yes, so that restrictive endorsement letter, you have the instructions, and then you have the first letter sent, right? Okay, now just say they they took your payment method, right? And then say it was for 500, you sent them 300, and then they still show 200. They just updated it to 200. There's an additional letter that's going there to say, hey, I had created a contract between me and you. You agreed to the terms and conditions. You're going to have a copy of the letter you sent. You're going to have the follow-up letter, and you're going to have the copy of your payment method showing, because you're going to write those same terms and conditions on your payment method. And then you send that back. Every time you send that back, they usually wipe it off, because, and also in that letter, it say, if you don't, I'm going to request arbitration. And because you agreed to the terms, uh, uh, I mean, you're going to end up having to take it off anyway, right? So they don't want to pay for arbitration. So a lot of times they're just going to take it off and they're going to agree to it. If they don't, and I haven't had anybody yet, but it's always a first. But if there's a collection company that's going to fight it, then you just get you I don't think no consumer lawyer would have a problem taking it, because those letters are put together. I actually had a consumer lawyer help me, and I actually went over with him and asked him, hey, this method, if they went through and they followed the method, do I have legal grounds to have it? He told me yes. So because I created a contract, and also in that letter, it'll say, if you do not agree to the terms and conditions, return the payment method back to me, to the address within this letter. I say, yes, I want to do that. So it's will show on the report as paid. No, if you do the restrictive endorsement letter for a collection company, now these are for collection companies, it should come off your credit report, not show paid. It should be removed, because that is one of the terms and conditions that you're asking. I'm asking for for this account to be paid, and you remove this account from my credit report. Remember, whatever state you come from, so I'm in California, but I'm originally from Texas. Both of them are 4 years. After 4 years, they cannot even force collection. The only way they can get anybody to pay for a debt is through your credit report. They cannot force collection on you. So they understand that. So the other powerful thing about the restrictive endorsement letter, when you're trying to settle and get off, they're going to take that payment, because they know once that becomes more than 7 years old, or 7 years, 6 months, once that gets that old, they can't get anything from you. It is a zombie debt. Will the restricting bill work for your charge-offs? Okay, so with charge-offs, you're dealing with the original creditor. So it will not work they'll send it back to you saying, we won't accept this. Now, there is a restrictive endorsement letter that requests a 1099-C, right? Which means a cancellation of debt, what could help you get that account removed off your credit report. But I can't, and like I say, I'm just honest about this. I cannot tell you every financial institution if they're going to accept a letter and give you a 1099-C. I can tell you Capital One, they do it all the time. I had a car, blew up the engine. I actually owe like 19,000 on this car, and it just rolled out, and eventually I was like, man, it's the last thing on my credit report. I want to buy a car. I want to get this off. So I settled with them for like $27.50. And it was about to fall off my credit report anyway. And they sent me a 1099-C, and then they removed it off my credit report. So, but you can try it. I tell my clients you can try, but it's hard because I don't know what every original financial institution, if they're going to even issue. Some of them may not even issue 1099-Cs, but a lot of them do issue 1099-Cs. Remember, on those 1099-Cs, you have to apply it to your credit, your taxes that year. It says what? That's what I want. I want to remove so it helps my score. Now, remember another thing y'all have to realize about scores, right? And this is the part about the industry that I don't like. Most people in our industry, they focus on score, right? Why do they focus on score? Because most people, that's how they can relate to you. I can raise your score 100 points. I could raise your score 50 points. I could raise your score. Listen, let's keep it real. If you improve your credit report, the credit score is going to follow. Nobody can tell you how much they can raise your score. I never tell a client that. What I tell them is I can help you improve your credit profile, because you could have a 700 or a 720 and somebody with a 690 get approved for something, and that person with a 720 got denied. It's all within what's in your credit report. Maybe the 720 has obtained a lot of credit in the last 2 years. They don't have any missed payments. They don't have any late payments. They don't have any negative information. But the number of new accounts they have added in the last 12 months will cause probably that financial institution not to give them credit. But that person with a 690 went to the same bank, hasn't opened up a lot of accounts, don't have a lot of inquiries, and they get approved. So for me, I don't never tell people that, because I can look at your credit report and say, yeah, I can see why you got denied, or I can see, why you got approved. So the main thing you have to focus on is, don't focus on the score. Focus on what is reported negatively on your account and how you can fix it. Some things you will not be able to fix. It's going to stay on there. But how do you combat that? You put it back. You keep adding positive information on your credit report to overshadow that negative. Little story. I had a bankruptcy back when 2008, 2000, the housing market crashed. 2009, I got laid off, ended up going back to college. Didn't work for 2 years. Didn't go back to work until what up, Skillet? Didn't go back to work until I got laid off in 2009. Didn't go back to work to 2011. I was still getting my retirement pay from military. I was still getting unemployment. I was still getting school money. So I was still having money come, but I had a considerably reduction in income. So there was some things that I could take care of, some things I couldn't. So it just, some things were just piling on. So I end up, and then I had homeowners association trying to garnish my pay, and it was another thing. So I was like, oh, so I filed bankruptcy, because you ain't gonna be digging in my check like that. So I filed bankruptcy. Now, moving forward, from the point I filed, I started building my credit. Literally, when they boop and stamped that it was done, I started building my credit. When that bankruptcy fell off my credit report, it did not raise my score one single point. So as information becomes older and older and older on your credit report, right, it don't make a difference if it comes off. It's not going to raise your score, because at a certain point, it's not damaging your score anyway. Now, if somebody, an underwriter, looks at that negative, that may be a determination on what interest rate you may get. You may not get that 0% interest, but you may get that 5.9 or 6.9 interest rate. But it does not mean that if you wipe that off, your score is going to go up, right? So that is one thing people have to realize. And when people in our industry tell you, I can get this removed and I'm gonna raise your score, it all depends on how old that account is. That if that account is 6 years old, it can come off. It ain't gonna raise your score any. It's too old, right? So you gotta understand that about the score and how FICO works. You gotta understand all those type of things. So Skillet says, would child support late be covered under the CARES Act? I'm not sure about that because child support is a court order thing, and the CARES Act is not. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna trump that court order, especially for child support. So if you had a late child support payment, it's probably gonna be on there and be stuck on there. But just remember, as older it gets, it's not going to affect that much anyway. And if you only have one late payment, it will drop your score in the immediate future, right? Soon as it happens. But it's still depending on how many accounts you have. You're still going to be in the 99 percentile, depending on how many accounts you have. If you got a number of accounts, you're still going to be 99 to drop, and you'll build that you'll recover some of those points, right? So I'm not going to say you recover in the next 3 months, but you will start recovering. You'll start seeing yourself recover those points back. But now, with a court order of child support, the CARES Act is not going to trump that. So, yeah. So it said, I can agree with you on the credit score. I have raised my score over 100 points within the past several months, higher than it has ever been. But I still am unable to get approved for anything due to the negative mark. Not sure. So the other thing, okay, let's talk about building your credit. You have to understand there are levels to building your credit. Some people they get credit cards that are at different levels. You have to understand the credit card levels. You cannot have negative information and want to chase credit card or discover credit card or a Citibank credit score. You got to start at the lower tier credit cards and work your way up. Most people they jump into the credit cards uh that are above their where they need to be, right? It's a building block. You're gonna build. I had to build the same one. I started off with Finger Hut, and then I had a secure credit card. Now I'm just telling from out of bankruptcy. I need to go. I need to show you how many credit cards I have now. I'm gonna go downstairs and grab them for y'all. Y'all gonna trip. It is building blocks that you build. And once you start building those building blocks, it will open the gates for other credit cards, right? It'll build I'm gonna run down, I'm gonna give you a break and I'm gonna run down and show you uh, all the credit cards that I have now. Hold on. All right, I had to pull them out the what's the name. So for some of y'all that probably been following me, there's a video for me and my wife. And this what got me in the credit repair. So there's a video. Me and my wife got married, and we have a daughter that's diabetic. She had a lot of medical debt, diabetic. So we moved from Texas to California. My job moved me from Texas, Houston, Texas, out here to I'm in Lathrop, California now, but out to California. You don't know Lathrop. I'm kind of in the Bay Area. So she had we signed a 2-year lease. After the first year, we said, okay, let's start looking for a house. And then we pulled her credit and she had a 484. Two of them were 484. I think one was like a 520 or something. That's what got me into it. She had zero credit cards, zero. She didn't have any kind of credit. And I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna learn this thing about credit, because I thought I knew about credit, but as I started learning, I ain't know jack about credit. And I'm just being honest. I thought I did, but and my scores was like in the 600s, like low 600s. I didn't have a whole lot of credit cards, but from now, this is the stack of my wife's credit cards now. From Navy Federal to all kind of credit cards she got in here. All kind of Visa cards, MasterCards. This is her stack. So she went from a 484 with no credit card, and this is my stack of credit cards. I have business credit cards, and I keep, because I don't even use these. These are wrapped up. They're put away. So I learned that you have to go through the building process with your credit. You can't just jump into the high credit cards. You have to start off with some of the ones you really don't like. You don't really like them, but you have to start off with them. And as you start off, you start accumulating that good payment history. You keep your limits low. You understand that when you charge off, make a charge on your card, you look at the statement date. You look at the statement date, and you pay your cards on this before. I always tell people 2 days before your statement date. Why do you do that? Because on the statement date is when they apply the interest, and typically that's when they report it to the credit bureaus, right? Because that's your updated balance. So I always tell people to pay it off on your statement date, because the trick is this. If you have a $500 credit card and you say, I have a budget of $500 every month that I could spend, and you put it on that credit card, right? And every month, 2 days before the statement date, you paid that $500 off. For the whole year, you borrowed what, $6,000, and you didn't pay zero interest on that $6,000 you paid. Zero. That's what I do, right? That's what I do. If I do carry a balance on something, it's usually probably on my I didn't even show you. That was one stack. Oh, I forgot. This is a whole nother stack of cards that I just carry with me. So these are the ones I don't carry. These are the ones I do carry. So it's just, if I do carry a balance, it's typically on my business credit cards, but that don't report on my personal, it doesn't report on my personal credit history. So I probably have over $100,000, probably about $140,000 in personal credit, but I don't use it like that. So, but just to kind of give you an example, it's a building block. So Joni's Farm says, I only tried applying for companies that do soft pulls, and I was aware that my credit was poor, so I only tried a few to date. I haven't been able to apply for anything. It's my credit I want to get right. Thanks for the good info. Yeah, I'm telling, it's a building. Sometimes start off with the secure cards. If you don't, start off with some of them little jacked up cards. Just remember, you could get a a credit card that maybe only gave you a $300 limit, and you use that card and you paid it off every month. Don't carry a balance. That's what most people make a mistake. Credit is not. See, the thing is, credit is bad, right? But when you really learn credit and understand credit, you understand, man, credit is the access to money. You can never change your wealth if you don't get the access to money. That is what it is. Rich folks have the access to money. That's why they can make business adventure, get into great things, buy things, make a profit. For us, and me, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. So because we change, we end up buying this house, then we end up getting a pool put in the backyard. People that probably follow me added a pool. We've been in this house for 18 months now. a lot of people don't know is that oh, the wife is calling me. I'll call her back. Don't know that, so my wife is on her way. We're moving back to Texas. We're moving to Dallas, putting our house up for sale. This place, just by me changing my process on finances, on investing. For a lot of people, if you knew, I was investing a lot. I started off with $100 in May of last year, and then by December, I had $25,000 in my brokerage account. Then I ended up going out. I took some of my profits and bought a Mercedes, and I mean, I changed how I think of money and how I think of credit, right? And I learned I took those 2 or 3 steps back, and now I've taken 5 steps forward. So now we're getting ready to put our house on the market. The housing market is ballistic, and especially where I live in California. Like, I live in a new development, and these jokers out here, they ain't even laid the slab down good, and they got for sale signs. In our area, people like posting on the website, uh, posting on the website like, "Hey, I just sold my house for 184,000 over asking." So that's why it's so important, and I'm trying to preach to everybody is that. So we're probably our house. I mean, right now, from what we owe and what is about 250,000 over what we owe, and then we're going to sell it, and that's before any bids go. So you have to understand how important it is for you to understand credit, getting it right, and how it could change your financial future. So Ms. Johnson says, so it's best to start disputing with the collection accounts when I find inaccuracy information, and pay off the accounts that I can dispute so they can be removed. So that I can't dispute, so they are removed. Okay, so you can dispute everything, but within that dispute on each item, I would only recommend you dispute 1 or 2 things. The collection accounts, you dispute and you validate, send in a validation letter, right? So you send in a dispute and a validation. You wait till your letter gets back. This is what I do. I wait till that letter get back, and then I scan that letter for any violations. I've also, that's why I say sometimes you have to dig deep. I also look at court cases. Like, I read one in one of my class on things that were violations, right? Most people wouldn't even read, wouldn't even think it was a violation. It was a Fair Debt Collection Practice Act violation, right? So I'll look at that. Do they have the physical address? Do they have certain statements? Are they asking me certain things on the very first letter they should not be asking? Right? I look at all of that stuff, right? If they're disputing it accurate on your credit report and it comes back accurate, I mean, it's nothing you can do. Is your next choice is I need to settle it. But I tell everybody, you settle collection companies to get removed. You don't settle collection companies that have paid for less than the amount. Them jokers, they could take it off. They're not supposed to, but they all about getting paid. That is what they do. And they understand that if they can't take you to court, it's outside the statute of limitations. They are limited on how they can collect that money. You could tell them jokers never call you again. They could never, if you are outside the statutory limitations, they could never, ever, ever, ever take you to court. They could never, ever try to get any money from you because they're outside the statutory limitation. So, hey, thanks. What's up, Devin? Yeah, Devin, he purchased the package today, sent it to him. But I'm telling you, they could never, ever, ever come after you. They could never sue you. So it behooves them. And that's why that restrictive endorsement letter is so powerful, because it's outside. Like, you can't even force collection on me. So if you don't want to take this money, no problem, right? But then what I do is the next letter. So say I send them $300 on a $500 and they sent it back, hypothetically. And then the next time I'm gonna send them $350 and say, this is my second attempt to settle this debt. Because if not saying I would, if I took that information, Your Honor, and took them to court, I tried to settle this debt a number of times. The judge is going to be looking at them like, they sent you payments to settle and you refused the settlement where it wasn't a full amount. Your Honor, they didn't pay the full amount for that debt. We know that, you know that, right? It was their debt buyer. They didn't pay the full amount, but at least I made an attempt based on my income, what I could do, what I could afford to settle the debt, and they refused. So that's why it's so important. Like, you ain't got to go and pay. Like people say, do a pay for deletion. I ain't doing no pay for delete. The only time I'm going to do that is if they are inside the statutory limitations and there's a possible and they refuse it. I may tell a client, if you could afford to just pay the total amount, then pay it. Or just ask him, what is the settlement amount? And it's the other trick to the game. Ask them what the settlement amount is, then use the restrictive endorsement and pay them the settlement amount. Still ask them to take it off and make the contract. Right? Those are all the tricks of the trade, because they told you what the settlement amount was. But if once you wrote the contract and you wrote, hey, you agreed to remove this from my credit report if you accept this payment, and they take that payment, that's on them. They made the mistake, right? So they're going to have to take it off. You got to know how the tricks of the trade. Say, logo master 2, which credit certification do you recommend for new credit repair startups? There are many out there. I would tell you this. There are a lot out there. But the reality of it is what have you learned about Metro 2, the credit reporting and all that? Metro 2 is the class you should be taking. Metro 2 is the #1 class you should be taking, because that is the standard that they put in place on how things are being reported. I went to some credit repair class. I mean, some seminars like Credit Con and some other ones. I followed some consumer lawyers, talked to some consumer lawyers. There are a lot out there, but me personally, the information is readily available for you. Do you want to pay somebody for that? That's fine. It doesn't mean you can't open up a credit repair company if you don't have this certification. I'm just going to be honest with you. But that's to each his own. Some people may want to put and say, hey, I went to this class, I got certified. But if you learn Metro 2, you learn strategies, you'll be fine with or without a certification. That's just my opinion. I'm just going to keep it real with you. If you start up the thing that you want to do, first off, you're going to start up a credit repair company. You got to start up building your business credit, getting your website up. I don't do monthly plans. I don't do that. I just think it's too much. People are trying to repair their credit now, and then we're going to throw another $100, $200. And I'm fortunate I don't have to do that. I think that's probably why I'm successful. I'm retired military, good job, pension. I got other stuff. So I really don't do monthly plans and stuff like that. I charge a fee up front, and then I charge a fee at 6 months, because I want to prove to them that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to credit. I know I can help you. And at the 6-month mark, if you don't want my service anymore, you don't have to pay me. If you want me to continue helping you, then you owe me the second half of the payment. So that's how I operate, right? So because I want my clients to be able to take the money that they have and fix their credit. That's what I want my clients to do. So I'm a little different. This credit repair stuff is not paying my bills and stuff like that. And I just want to give back, man, to be honest with you. I just want to give back and give knowledge back to everybody. I mean, it is work for me sitting down, putting dispute letters and putting all that information together and selling. I would prefer selling the package and educating people and getting them to fix their own credit. But I understand everybody don't have time for that. They busy, kids, they got a lot going on. It is a lot putting dispute letters together. It is a lot doing all that stuff. They just don't have the time for it. So yeah, I definitely help you. Um, but I mean, you ask me, I prefer all my clients to, yeah, I would prefer people to buy the package. And it says for a good credit repair company, what's good upfront fees versus monthly? Well, I mean, it all depends. If you ask me, I charge $200 up front, and then I charge if it's a single person, and I charge 200 6 months later. For a couple, I charge 300 up front and 300 6 months later. Uh, and then I work with most of my clients for up to 12 months, because in reality, credit repair is a process. If you really want to help somebody build their credit and you really want to make a good name for yourself and help people, uh, uh, it takes time. I get more people that come to me after working with somebody and say, this person said they were going to raise my score, and they said they were going to fix this, and I only had like one thing that got deleted and my credit score is still jacked up. I do things differently. With my clients, I give them assignments. This is your first assignment. These are the two cards I need you to reduce their debt. When you complete, you have 45 days to complete this assignment. Once you complete this assignment, let me know. We'll move to the next step. I am going to be sending you some affidavits. I need you to mail these affidavits off, certified mail. Make sure you take a picture of your letter before you send it to them. Make a letter of your certified receipt so we can track it. I'm going to dispute. Other things I do different is my clients get those results because I want to be transparent with my clients. If y'all, hey, I meant to tell you in here, just shoot a thumbs up for the engagement. I know y'all talking. Hey, hit that thumbs up. Uh, just say, hey, I appreciate it. So, so for me, I'm a little different, right? But again, I'm just telling. For me, it's not. I don't. My credit repair business is not for me to, it doesn't pay my bills. It's more of when I do settle down into, and maybe I'm retiring full time, it's another business I can step in. But I have other business adventures I'm trying to get in that I'm looking for those business adventures, more in the real estate and some other areas to really produce more income. Credit repair is a process, man. You have to be in it, and you have to understand that your clients have lives that they're living. They have bills that they're trying to deal with. They have kids. They got unexpected things happen. And sometimes that process is not as fast, right? So if you're charging somebody 149, 149, 149, in most cases, most people are going to, at some point, and they don't see the improvement, they're going to stop paying you. They're going to stop paying you. I say, do you charge postage? No, I don't. I have an account with the postal service. The stamps are pretty cheap. I usually just print them off. I send in, and then I just pay the postage. It's not that big of a deal, right? And I mean that I could always. Last year I went up. I started with like 150, and then I moved to 200. And then maybe next year I'll go to 250. And I'm not saying I won't raise the prices, but it would never get astronomical. I would never do monthly. I could tell you that right now. I would never do a monthly charge on any of my clients. I just feel like they have other important things going on in their life. I like them to know that they paid for a service and they got 6 months to save up for the next purchase, next payment, and for me to work with them and get their credit score where it needs to be. Right. And that's just me. Everybody's different, but that's just how I do it. Yeah. So, hey, I appreciate it, Devin. Yeah. I mean, and even with people who have bought this package, I mean, they got unlimited access to me. If I add something to it and say they see me do a video and I added something. They say, "Hey, Larry, I bought your package." I mean, I know everybody bought the package. I have their invoice, and I just say, "No problem." I'll send them updated information on everything. So, uh, so it's all about, man. To be honest with you, man, it's all about getting all of us to the next level, man. It is enough out here for all of us to be successful. And I don't want to hold information back because it has changed my life. It's changed me and my wife's life. You know, you just got to think about it. We moved out here in 2016. It's 5 years later. We bought a house, sell a house, and probably going to make, just changing our credit, probably going to make, put in our pockets after fees and everything, anywhere up to 200 to $250,000 in our pocket, and then moving back to Texas, right? 5 years just changing our credit, and then opening up a credit repair business. Now I'm getting ready to start buying real estate. I mean, there's so many things that just change, right? Just change just by me understanding and learning about credit, right? So, but I want everybody to get this information, man. I want everybody. That's why I don't even charge. I've had people say, "Man, you should be charging like $300 for all this information." For what? I'm not greedy. I mean, I don't need to be. I'm blessed. The Lord has blessed me. I don't need to be greedy. I need to help other people and give them that information. And then hopefully they get it, learn it, and they help some family members and all that. We got to start helping each other out to be able to continue to grow, right? Especially in our community. We got to continue to grow and teach our kids, all that stuff. Teaching your kids young about credit, teaching them about investing, right? Hey, start investing. Now you start your kids off young, right? 5, 6 years old, and investing and putting money, man. Them jokers would be millionaires time they're 22, 23 years old. But we don't think, we wasn't educated. We don't understand money. We don't understand credit. We don't understand that, credit could keep you in poverty if you don't know how to use it, right? But if you know how to use it, it will propel you, right? So, just like me, I use other people's money to get what I want. And I in my business, Platinum American Express, I put everything on it, get my rewards, pay it off. Me and my wife flew to Texas and paid like $150 for round trip tickets. End up going into the not the concierge, but the American Express lounges, eat and drink for free, just kick back up there while we're waiting for our next flights. A lot of things change when you understand the importance of credit and what it can do for you. Don't give up. Persistence is everything when it comes to credit. Persistence is everything. When you dispute, they come back, you dispute it again. Matter of fact, I froze my Nexus Lexus account when I was getting it removed off of my Nexus Lexus account. The first time I sent them a letter, the joker sent back, say, "We verified it's accurate." I sent them back none like, "Well, this is how did you verify the accuracy of this account? Please give me the information. Who did you talk to? What system did you get?" I have some all kind of questions. The next one I got back, they removed it off my Nexus Lexus account, right? So you just have to be persistent on it. And sometimes you have to take a nail. Some people come on now. We know we charged up all these credit cards. We know it. You're not going to get all that stuff removed. Sometimes you just going to take a nail. But the whole process, take that L today so you could take a W 2 years later or 3 years later. I have had clients that be like, "I ain't paying them jokers nothing. Forget them jokers." I'm like, listen, you ain't hurting them jokers because all you're doing is hurting yourself, because they are keeping you from being able to have access to money. So you ain't hurting them. They still making their money. They didn't wrote them taxes off. They didn't got them something back on their taxes. So that mindset is what they want you to have, because they know that mindset is going to keep you broke, right? So once you change that mindset, nah, I'm going to get these jokers off me. They ain't going to be keeping me held down. Whatever I got to do to get these jokers paid off my credit report, that's what I'm going to do. right? I've had clients, but I have to break it down and be like, I get it. Yeah, you right. You right. Sometimes you just got to take care of. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to fix your credit so you can move forward. That's the thing, man. You can never move forward with all that negative stuff on you, right? Dispute, affidavits, restrictive endorsement letters, understand the laws, understand the language in your debt collection letter, understand student loan debt. You know, who do I talk to? There's things that you have to and understand how to read your credit report. You have to look at your. That's why I like identity IQs because it gives you kind of a ledger. I'm like, why they got delinquent accounts? And then I look at account and the account's not delinquent, it's paid, but they never updated it. It's still saying they late 30 days. How they late 30 days and they got a zero balance? You can't be late 30 days with a zero balance. A delinquency means you are late currently, not that you was late or you've been late 6 months ago. You are late currently. If you're not late currently, then you need to have that updated. I said, listen, I just want to fix it now and start over much smarter. I've learned and a lot in a short time and need to make it right. You can make it. You already your mindset has changed, so you've already made it right. It's just a process. But remember, you can still build your credit. I can't. I have to look at people's credit to tell you what you need to do. Some people look at their credit and they miss 5 different things. I didn't even see that. I didn't even notice that in that dispute package, there's a debt spreadsheet, and it lets you break down like your good debt, your bad debt. It calculates it. I think it calculates it for you, and it tells you. So I do it for clients, and it's like, oh my god, I didn't know I was in debt that much. Yeah, you got $30,000 in credit card debt, and then you got $15,000 in bad debt in collection, and you're wondering why nobody don't want to give you no credit. You know what I mean? So you have to understand that uh, you gotta understand that sheet it breaks it down in layman's terms to be like I gotta come up with a plan. And I've learned this a long time ago. Sometimes you have to learn how to sacrifice and take 2 steps back before you can take 3 steps forward. Right. So, you know, make sure y'all understand that. It's nothing wrong with that. Do you charge postage? I don't charge postage. Okay, all right. Lucella, you're going to call me next week. Yeah, just, I mean, you can call. I'm going to be, remember, I'm in California now. So, but I mean, you can call me. Usually I'm home from work about between 5 and 5:30 during the week. Uh, the weekends, I'm free all day tomorrow. I got to do a little packing, but I'm free all day tomorrow. But usually weekends in the evening and the weekends are the best time to deal. The weekends I'm at this desk, either trying to shoot a video, working on people's credit, doing dispute letters, calling clients, talking to them, asking them why they ain't did it, what's going on. I thought you were supposed to pay off this credit card. I mean, I did, but I had to. Nah, you need to take care of that. And anybody that wants to open up a credit repair business, your struggles is clients not following the plan. I've I had an employee at work, uh, and okay, no problem. I lived in San Francisco back in 1989. Yeah, well, you did the right thing getting up out of San Francisco. I'm about to get up out this high state, boy. They gas too high. You got to pay 10 cents for every grocery bag you get. You got to pay everything high here. Man, I got a ticket. I got a ticket for failure to yield, and that ticket was down there $300. I'm like, what? Man, everything up in California expensive, boy. It ain't no joke. You go to the gas station, $4. You know, I gotta put premium in all my cars. So $4.50, $4.39 a gallon. Man, electric bill. My first house I stayed in out here in California, my electric bill every single month was at least $500 every single month. Right. You know, you make more money out here, but they take more money from you out here. So But California's a beautiful state, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna miss the weather. The one thing I'm gonna miss is the weather is amazing out here. Uh, but yeah, you pay for that sunshine. You ain't lying. You pay a hefty price for it. But California is beautiful. I ain't. It's probably I've been to a lot of states, and I've been. I was in the military. I traveled the world. Now, California is a beautiful place. They have beautiful sceneries. It's a beautiful state. But you ain't lying. You gonna pay for this sunshine. Cause I was amazed that, it's kind of off topic, but I was amazed like at May, you don't get no rain from May to like November, December. I'm like sunny every day. It may be a little cloudy when you wake up, then it just clears up. And there ain't a cloud in the sky or a few clouds. But any other questions on credit? If you want to know, I did a video about my credit repair, my master dispute package. You can go in there and look at it. I'm always updating, adding stuff to it. But remember, that package is not about, I'm going to tell you this, me. Don't buy letters from people, right? Because I've bought in the beginning letters, and them generic letters, they could have kept that BS, right? My package is all about information to help you put together a great dispute letter. And if you don't understand some of it, once you get it, you always have access to Karma. I have a Facebook group, learn how to remove negative items off. You can send me a message on there. It's in my description. You could email me if you run into something. Maybe you shoot me a screenshot of your credit report and what you're seeing, what's wrong with this. No problem, help you. That's what we have to do to get to where we want to get, right? Don't be afraid of credit cards. Get a credit card, put it away, right? Maybe every 6 months, pull it out, get some gas, go buy some groceries, pay it off, throw it away. People be like, well, they're going to close my account if I don't use it. They're not going to close it. You would not have to use that card for more than 6 months. Use it every 6 months, take it out, use it for something, pay it off, throw it back in the drawer, don't use it again, right? And continue to build your credit. Don't try to build it too fast. If you in 6 months you got 5 cards, you should slow it down from that point. Slow it down. Slow it down, because every time you open up a card, right, you reduce your length of credit history. So it's better to open them all up at one time, real close, and then take a break. Maybe take a 6-month break. You use those cards. You put a bunch of good payment history behind those cards. You don't want to have a whole lot of cards with 2 payments on reported on your credit report. 2 payments on this card, 2 payments. So now you reduce your length of credit to less than a year. Now you look like you're a super young creditor with no credit experience, right? So be careful. That's another area you have to be careful with. How much credit did you open up? How much credit you obtain, right? That's another thing why people's scores don't jump right up. The banks are getting smart with authorized users. But if you can get an authorized user, right, and somebody that's going to let you jump on board, tell them, I need a card that's at least 8 years or older, not 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You want somebody that's got a card they've been having for 7, 8 years. I always say 8 years or more, because that's going to help push up your length of credit history, right? So that's what you want to do. Authorized users are a great tool. What me and my wife did, right? I say, when you got a card, I got a card. I put me on that card as an authorized user. And then I got a card, I put her on as an authorized user. So now that payment history was being put on cards, right? And that's how we built up hers and all so fast, right? Some of these are probably duplicates. Mine, she has one, I have one. But then, shoot, my wife, boy, she be trying to spin. I'd be like, hey, girl, that credit card kind of high. You need to take me off that card. You trying to hurt my credit score. But she know I'm the finance guy, so she know I'm gonna be watching all that stuff anyway. So, but any other questions or anything else? Now we've been on here for a little hour, and I'm gonna start doing these more and more and more to not just do videos. I think I maybe every other week do a live session to ask more questions. share the channel, share what you could do. Let's bring more people in this, because we need some people that's going to give you real credit information, right? Really things that could help you build and get your credit right. If you have a credit repair business, first thing, get your EIN number. I got a DUNS number. I started with net 30 accounts. Have you a physical address. Don't use your home. Get you a virtual office. Once you get your virtual office, and you get you some net 30 accounts, then you got your website going. Don't do a Yahoo email. Get you a professional email address. Like I do, like mine is lcoleman at advancedloancreditservices.com. Set your business up like a business, right? People ask me, you're in credit repair, but it sounds like you like a loan or a bank. No, yeah, I did that on purpose because a lot of people that do credit repair, it's not that great of it. It has a lot of bad stigmatized about credit repair. A lot of chargebacks, people unhappy and doing chargebacks. So I didn't want my business to sound like a credit repair business. So, think about that when you open it, open up your credit repair. Do you want it to sound like one? So I went a little different. I didn't want mine to sound like one. And it's been well. I mean, I got a Platinum American Express through my business. I got fuel cards through my business. And and other than that, everything else is good. But if you have any questions, if you're trying to open up a credit repair business and you want to ask me some info, you're more than welcome to hit me up, ask me. I'll tell you everything I've done, and we'll go from there. Yeah, but I got it in here somewhere. Better be in here. Unless I left it somewhere. Oh, yep. See my platinum American Express business. So I'm just telling you, my life changed understanding credit and understanding the how important it is. And it's my job to get that to y'all again. So if you email me, if you got any questions, email me what your issue is or your credit report. I'll do my best to help you. But other than that, I appreciate all y'all hanging out. I appreciate y'all coming out. I am going to try to put a video together tomorrow. I'm trying to think what approach I want to take. So I know I want to make a mention about medical debt, right? So let's get on about medical debt before we close this out. There's a lot of bad information out there about medical debt, right? I validated a medical debt with a company and they sent me a bill, right? Didn't say what they went for, nothing. It's just a bill. And then they come back and say, well, that's illegal because they didn't send me a HIPAA release form because I requested a HIPAA release form. HIPAA allows for medical billing. Hear me again. HIPAA allows for medical billing, right? You have to think about when people tell you that, right? If they didn't allow medical billing, people could go to the doctor and never pay a bill. I'm not paying y'all and y'all can't get no money. Y'all can send it to a collection company. They can't get nothing from me, right? So that information is so, and I don't know, so many people, I have to correct people all the time about this. HIPAA allows for medical billing. Now, if you get a validation letter and it says that you got an X-ray and the X-ray charges with this, now they're in violation of HIPAA, right? That's when you can go after them. That's one thing you can do. The other thing people never talk about when it comes to medical debt. Do you know that you could call them, say your medical debt, the medical facility sent it to a collection company. Did you know that you can call that medical facility and ask them to recall that debt? Hey, I didn't know I thought my insurance had took care of this debt. I had no clue. I've never got a bill from you or anybody with you. I've never got a bill. I promise, never got a bill. Can you recall this debt from the collection company? And I would like to just pay it with you. I have no problem paying this medical debt, but I just want to pay it with you. Do you know when they recall that debt and say, you know, we don't need you to collect this debt, we're going to take care of it, that will remove that medical debt from your credit report. A lot of people don't know about that strategy, but that is a strategy that you can use, right? I'm not going to, you know what? I'm not going to try to pay them or go through all that. I'm just going to call and see if they can recall it. The other thing I'm going to tell you why about HIPAA, when people tell y'all that, even you, if you call a medical facility and ask them for that medical information, they're going to send you a HIPAA release form before you get your own information, just to make sure they will authorize to release that information, right? So understand all that. Hey, I appreciate you, Devin, Lucille, Skillet. I appreciate y'all, man. But I'm definitely going to start doing these live streams like every other week, and then come back, answer any questions, talk about credit building. I think that's probably what I need to do a class on credit building, how to build your credit, what kind of credit cards to start off with, how to fill out your application, all that other type of stuff, you know, then how to look at your credit report. Understanding, I probably do need a class on FICO, because a lot of people don't understand FICO and what FICO score. Remember, you have a FICO score for mortgage, you have a FICO score for credit cards, you have a FICO score for auto loans. They're all different, and they're all based on information about that. And so if you had a repossession, your FICO for your car loan is going to be low. If you've had bad credit card debt, that score is going to be low. If you had a foreclosure, your mortgage. So all those scores are different. So and then how they're scored, you know, if you a mortgage, if your debt, if you have a collection under $100, it doesn't even count, right? So it's a lot of different things that I probably need to do a refresh on FICO and how FICO operates. I think it gives people a better understanding on, you know, how to really improve their credit score. And that's another area you have to really learn about FICO. So, but I don't have anything else. If y'all don't have anything else, I appreciate y'all hanging out, coming out, hanging out with me. We're going to continue. Make sure on the way out, man, y'all hit that like button, that thumbs up, you know, thumbs up, push, poke, pull, you know, do that, hit that thumbs up. But anyway, hey, I appreciate y'all. I definitely gonna try to put out a video tomorrow. I'll surprise y'all, whatever it is. And then, yeah, I'm gonna start doing these every other Saturday. Maybe next Saturday, if it ain't too hot, I'll do it out there in the pool area, outside or whatever. So, but anything other than that, you know, y'all. You know, y'all been on here, shoot me an email. Usually people who shoot me an email, I will give you my phone number, and then you can call me. Because people say, I don't like putting my phone number out here because people are not serious. And they just have, but typically people that email me are serious. And then I give them my number because they seem like the ones that want to have a conversation and all that. It says, David said, how to fill out application would be perfect. Yeah. All right, cool. So, yep. So, maybe I'll do a class on how to, there's some little things you can manipulate in there, like income. Some people are too honest on them. I ain't all that honest on them. I'm going to tell a couple of little fibs on there that are outside the credit report, right, that they can't see. So, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about that. And but other than that, man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great weekend. Probably shoot out this video tomorrow. And like, again, any questions, let me know. But again, invest to be a million. That's my whole thing. Invest to be a million. It all starts with our credit. It all starts with our credit. So appreciate y'all. I got some people's. I got a file I need to work on. So as soon as I hang up here, and anybody got my number and they want to call me, hey, I'm free. I'm sitting at my desk. I'm gonna start working on some credit. You can give me a call. I appreciate y'all, and I'll be talking to y'all in a minute.